and the Romani woman in the woods is portrayed as the witch who wants to eat the babies. Institutionalized racism and ethnocentrism and xenophobia. So angry. I'm so angry. Yeah, so they were running that ad campaign at that time, and they were doing that because at that time the EU was working with the Romani Tribal Council, which was having, and the Romani Tribal Council has, and I'm not sure that that's the exact name of the group, but you know what I mean. That organization is global, right? Because they want to serve or represent or control, depending on how you want to look at it, all Romani people in the world, because we are scattered everywhere. We don't have a country. We weren't afforded such a luxury after World War II. But moving on. So this treaty was struck, and the treaty itself was very controversial within Romani community because it separated Roma from Sinti. Now, Sinti people are considered Roma by many people, right? And what this is a classism within Romani tribalism, right? Saying that the Sinti aren't as good of a group, or you aren't the same as us, or whatever. And this comes from variation in tribal practices and traditions, right? Which you see that in Native American cultures too. Not every Native American tribe has the exact same rituals or customs. There's similarity, there's thread that runs through, and all of them are still considered Native American or indigenous peoples, right? Deep breath, Larissa, deep breath. So there was this big hullabaloo because the way the treaty was worded was Roma and Sinti. And so this was the schism within the Romani community. Now, as a unifying act, the Romani intellectuals, because every ethnic group has those who are their scholars and those who are their pickpockets, right? Whatever. So the intellectuals were trying to open a library in Europe that was going to be also available online, that was going to specifically represent Romani media, texts, whatever. But they were fighting because they're like, oh, to be in the Romani library, you have to be written in Romani language. Well, Romani language is varied between every tribe based on where immigration had happened and where tribes, where clans, compañías had compañeras, whichever, see, this is what I mean, wherever they settled, because they included words from whatever the local language was. We use that. That's why, Romani people can go to any country and communicate with each other, because there's this core language, right? And then an inclusion, assimilation of whatever the local language is. So the other thing that was very controversial and upsetting to many people, whether they're Roma, Sinti, whatever, at that time about the treaty, was that the treaty, the way it was worded, said that from now on, Roma culture is German culture. See, this is why you have Roma now coming from all over the world to Germany and overtaking or overpopulating or crowding German culture. Right? Because if we're all supposed to be ethnically German now, where the hell are you going to go when somebody says, go back to your country? I'm not German. And Romani culture does not originate in Germany. So, in my opinion, looking back at all of this, and at the time I was just learning about my Romani heritage, And this is why people who could pass when they came to the United States did. It's why my family did. Because this is all just crazy ass bullshit, right? So looking back at this, I see that whole treaty as cultural appropriation and a selling out as well. So the German side was appropriating our culture, cheapening our culture, when anthropologically our culture is based in the Punjabi region, Punjab, Kashmir, Pakistan, Nepal, Tibet, those mountains, those mountain ranges, right? That's where anthropologically the culture came from originally, and then spread out after war, right? All the history of, and this is also why within Indian culture and certain groups of Indian culture, there is a great racism, for lack of a better word, of ethnically Indian people against Romani people. And I have experienced this firsthand. I'm not saying that about all Indian people. That's certainly not the case. But certain ones, yes. And the places where I've had issue with it has been in healthcare. Well, a couple other places too in public, but healthcare has been a big one. Indian doctors, and you go see an Indian doctor. I'm always hesitant when I see an Indian doctor because I have to wait and see if that Indian doctor is going to be racist towards me. And on all but one occasion, they have been. Deep breath. I'm so angry. So angry. So given all of this, the Kardashian family, in my opinion, has been morally and ethically vacant on a cultural responsibility to raise awareness around these issues. And this is why the word gypsy, to me, is no different than the N-word. Those bitches live a gypsy life. Wrap your mind around that. I hold their parents accountable. Wednesday, I'm going to be 40 years old. Because of the institutionalized racism within the healthcare system against people of my ethnic background, I didn't believe I was going to live to be 30. So these last 10 years of my life have been challenging. I'd say I'm grateful to be alive, but I'm not sure that that's entirely accurate. I think we'll wait to see on that. I am grateful to have a comfortable bed to sleep in. I am grateful for not having to sleep on the streets. I am grateful to not be incarcerated. I am grateful for the rain. I'm grateful for the sunshine. And I'm offended by families like the Kardashians. And I feel bad for them. And there's so much I'm angry about. So much. Kim Kardashian, when you went and made that big hullabaloo about your plea for that black woman to come and get out of jail, and then she got out of jail. Very happy for that woman and her life and her family. But shame on you for not speaking up and out about Roma issues. Because, and I know why you don't do it. I know why you don't do it, because there's a lot of us who like to live the trashy lifestyle, who don't want to go to school. And I understand that's a two-sided coin, because I had problems in school too. The German teacher who wouldn't let me read because she didn't think I was smart enough. So I understand. But you would do well to really examine what it is we're doing here. Because I don't know about you, but I'm tired of the social abuse. I'm never white enough, and I'm never brown enough. This shit ain't about money. This is about what's right and what's wrong. Whatever. Something to think about, right? I'm going to finish putting on my face. And today I'm going to use a curling iron. I've noticed that back of my hair is a big friggin' mess. I don't know what happened. The way it's grown out, I guess since the last time I got it cut, looks like there's a big chunk taken out of the back. Ugh. Still have one of those bumps up here after that being at that spa. Ugh. This is something that really irritates me about Romani culture. And anthropologically, Romani culture is both nomadic and anarchistic. And that does not mean anarchy does not mean without law, right? That's not what it means. It's a different system of living that is survival based. And in this way, you see the same kind of structure anthropologically in nomadic and indigenous cultures. There's similarity, there's thread. And it comes down to survival, right? But this is the thing that really irks me in Romani culture. Like, when in community or in group, if there's one who has more or is standing out in some way, the community will try to stamp you down. They'll try to take from you. They'll It's believed that you owe it to give what you have. And I don't believe that. I believe that that is a problem within many cultures, the sense of entitlement to somebody else's property, whether it is intellectual or physical. I'm not sure what the answer is to bridging this issue, because that mindset, that structure serves a large group of people, right? And it screws over a lot of other ones. I'm not even going to go into the spiritual side of it right now. I could speak for a very long time about that. And there again, this comes down to variation in custom and tradition between tribal groups within the ethnic structure. And stereotypes come from somewhere for a reason, and I don't have patience for petty witches. I'm talking about cultural appropriation. Anyway, happy birthday to me.